So where is my screen? Let me see. Okay. All right. You able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Just give me 1 minute. Let me see if I can log into this VM. Just give me 1 minute. So, okay, so server is off. Just give me 1 minute. Let me do the setups. Okay, so there was an issue. So server went off. So we just restarted. All right. So what we're going to discuss today, right? So we are going to discuss step by step FortiGate understanding. Okay. So we'll try to understand from very scratch, each and everything, how the firewall is going to be configured, how firewall is going to be look like, how the lab access is going to be like access from the remotely, right? And most important, how you guys can do the lab access and all, right? So that's why I'm trying to access the lab first, so I can show you step by step process how it is going to be accessible. So let me show you first. So it is not accessible. Why? Let me see. Admin. GuiNet. Just give me 1 minute. Let me see why it is not accessible. 192.39. Yeah, it's a pingable. Let me try the HTTPS. Okay, so this is something issue in this particular port. Let me try to fix it. Yeah, no, it's fine. So if config, let me check the port, means IP address of this particular server. So IP is fine. Now I'm able to log in. So let me try to log in from the HTTPS. 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 Yeah, so now I have the lab access. Okay. So the first thing, you guys are going to get the lab access. Okay. By getting the lab access, you have to come in the sections where you have to get the FortiGate Firewall lab access. And by going in this FortiGate Firewall lab access, you can do the all lab, like whatever you want to do that for the day 0 configuration, day 1 configuration, how it is going to happen in each and everything. So let's start, right, without wasting our time. If you have the very new firewall, right? So how you are going to do the firewall configuration? Anyone have seen the FortiGate firewall? Nausar, Parth, Pradeep, Sandeep. You guys seen that FortiGate firewall in your life? Or
Not
is
yet, sir.
not it, right? Okay. So let's suppose you have the FortiGate firewall and you have to do the configuration. So first you have to visualize what are the different firewalls available in the market and how those firewall is going to be configured. We definitely discuss about the course content and everything what we are going to cover and the history, some kind of the comparative analysis. These are that are the list important just for the your awareness you should know. But let's talk about the key concept about the FortiGate. So if you just go in the Google, right, and I just try to find out FortiGate firewall data sets, right? So you have the lot of product matrix, and you can see
The
in this.
session you have recorded a start or not?
Okay. Sorry. Let me do that. Thanks for reminding, right? So
Okay, no worries, sir.
now you can see we have the product matrix, and in this product matrix, we have different kind of the firewalls, right? So might be you are going to get the very small number of firewall, means a small size of firewall. At the same time, you are going to get the very high end of the firewall. So you have to like always check the data set. What I am just checking that the product overview. Which firewall is my small end firewall? Which firewall is my high end firewall? How are you going to check that? Based on their series. So if you have the low number of series like 30G, 40G, 50G, 60G, they are always going to act as a low end firewall. Clear? And if I talk about the high end firewall, the number is going to be keep increase. You can see 600, 900, 1000, right? We have 1800, 2600, 3000, 3200, 3300. These are the different firewalls. Even we have the more higher number here, and you can see we have the 3500, we have 3700, 4200, and 4400, 6300, 7200. So we have lot of vendors. Last one is a 7121. It's the very high powerful firewall. All right. So first you should know the firewall I'm going to handle, which kind of the firewall and what kind of traffic it can be processed. That's the first thing always come in your mind. It's the small firewall, it's a big firewall, right? After that, you should little bit do the R&D as well based on the models. Means if I'm going to use the small firewall, then how my throughput is going to be look like, how my processors of the firewall is going to be look like, how much I can send the traffic through the IPsec tunnel, how much my firewall processing latency is going to be look like, how many firewall policy I can create that, how many VPN client I can integrate that, it is going to provide the 40 client integration or not. Probably you don't know what is a 40 client SSL VPN. I'll explain later stage, but you should know about that. How things is going to be look like in terms of the small firewall and a higher end firewall. Why it is very important, guys? Because once you go for the interview, right, and you're going to tell yourself, right, I'm the FortiGate engineer. So they will ask you which model of the firewall you have worked. So you're going to say, yes, I work on the ATF model of the firewall. So they will ask you any other model you work. So you can say like, yes, I work on the 100F as well. Or might be another vendors, whatever you can see in the means another model, not vendor in this product matrix. So they will simply ask you, just tell me if I'm going to use the 100F firewall and if I'm going to use the ATF firewall, so how much I can get the IPsec tunnel traffic means speed in ATF and how much I can get in the 100F. So you can see IPsec throughput in this particular firewall, we have the 6.5 and here we have the 11.5. So both having a different throughput. Similarly, they can ask for the latency. They can ask for how many session per second it can process. So you can see it is going to process around 4500 session per second. It is going to process 5600 session per second. They are going to ask what is the SSL VPN throughput is going to be happen. So you can see the clear differences here, 1 Gbps, 950 Gbps. They are going to ask how many application traffic control means application control, application aware means routings, traffic, processing is going to be happen, then it is going to very high difference there. Also, they're going to ask like new session per second that we already discussed. Concurrent sessions, you can see 1.5 million, 1.5, both having the similar kind of stuff. So similarly, you should know about this. Yes, Nausad, please tell me.
सर ये लाइक माय क्वेश्चन इज कि ये मैं बीच में कुछ पूछ सकता हूँ ना अगर मैं कहीं पे
हाँ
स्टक हो
बिल्कुल
जाऊँ?
बिल्कुल, यू कैन आस्क इन हिंदी एंड इंग्लिश बोथ, राइट? एंड चिंता करने की दिक्कत नहीं है, वी ऑल आर हियर फॉर लर्निंग, ओके? सो यू आस्क fearless questions, anything you can ask.
या
Just
डॉट सेशन फिर एंड ऑफ मतलब एंड ऑफ क्लास मतलब आप स्टार्ट करोगे डॉट सेशन या इन बिटवीन मैं पूछ
no,
सकता
no, you
हूँ?
can ask, you can ask. There is no problem. You can ask. If you have any question, please ask me. Ask me. I'll give in English. If you not understand, I'll repeat in Hindi as well. Just
हाँ
ask
तो
me.
ये मुझे इसके बारे में बताइए ना आईपी सिक्स वीपीएन और ये 6.5 जीबीपीएस और ये 100F में आप जो बोल रहे हैं 11.5 ये डिफरेंस क्या है एग्जैक्टली?
Okay. So see, we have the different devices, right? And different devices. Let's suppose you have the router, right? So router, we have the MPLS circuit and we have the internet circuit, right? You know that. So on MPLS circuit, you can take the bandwidth from the ISP, and those bandwidth could be the 100 Mbps, and this internet also can be 50 Mbps or might be 500 Mbps. You take the bandwidth, right? Always.
यस यस
So now let's suppose I have two routers. One is the R1, one is the R2. And I want to build the IPsec tunnel over the internet, because IPsec tunnel always going to build over the internet.
यस
So these IPsec tunnel having some limitations. Even your circuit is 1000 Mbps, right? Then it doesn't mean these IPsec also going to give the 1000 Mbps speed. It's always depend on your hardware model, which hardware model is going to support how much bandwidth for the IPsec and GRE tunnel. So you have to refer this data set to understand if I'm going to use, let's suppose instead of router, I have the 40 gate firewall here and one FortiGate firewall here. And this is my 80G firewall and this is my 100G firewall. And in between you have the internet here. Let's suppose you have the internet here. So these two are going to connect in this way. So now if I want to build the IPsec tunnel in between two, let's suppose the tunnel is going to look like in this way. This is my IPsec tunnel. So now if I have the IPsec tunnel, wait, just give me 1 minute. So if I have the IPsec tunnel, so now let's suppose this circuit speed is, let's suppose I have this 30 Gbps speed, right, of this particular circuit. Just take an example, Gbps, and this also 30 Gbps. Just take an example. Means 30 Gbps is very high speed circuit. Now, if I want to send the 30 Gbps circuit traffic over the IPsec tunnel, is it possible? The answer is no. Why it is not possible? Because my maximum IPsec throughput for the 80G firewall is 6.5 Gbps and maximum for the 100G is 11.5 Gbps. So it
योर
always going
वॉइस
to
इज
need,
ब्रेकिंग सर.
sorry, Nasad, sorry, you asking something? Hello, hello. Am I audible, guys? Hello. Am I audible?
Yes,
हाँ
yes.
अभी आ
Yeah,
रहा है.
yes, sir. You're audible. You're audible.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so till where I was not audible? I'm not sure.
You're audible, sir. Everything's okay.
All right, all right. So what is going to be happen in this scenario? If the traffic is going to be processed, I can only cater the 6.5 Gbps traffic from this firewall and 11.5, but the maximum capacity of this firewall is 6.5. So if even he is going to send 11.5, it is not going to accept the traffic. So always negotiation is going to happen on the lower side. Means always the lower speed is going to be negotiated, and based on the lower speed, your traffic is going to be processed. So this is how IPsec is going to come as a packet processing based on the hardware model, because they are having the clear definition of the throughput limitations. Nasad, is it clear to you? Nasad?
Yes, sir.
So this is what I am talking. So different devices, we have the different kind of the architecture, and different architecture having a different kind of the set of the limitations. Means what device can access what type of traffic, and how many maximum traffic particular type of the services can be used. Okay. So we have the different firewalls. So if I go on the Google again, and I just check about the FortiGate firewall. So in this FortiGate firewall, if you see that we have this kind of the look and feel. So in this firewall, you can see we have the different ports. Let me show you. Yeah. So this is the front view of the FortiGate firewall, and in this firewall, you can see we have the console port, and this is, by the way, F60F firewall model. We have the USB port, we have the console port, we have the WAN port, we have another WAN port, we have the DMG port, we have some kind of the other port that can be used for the LAN connectivity, even for the WAN connectivity based on your configuration. So if you're going to purchase the firewall, definitely there would be the power supply. That power supply is very important for the, to just turn on a firewall. If you want to do the reset configuration of the Palo Alto firewall, that is reset button defined here. By using that reset button, you can do the reset configuration of the Palo Alto firewall. You can do the entire configuration reset of the Palo Alto firewall. If you want to take the console access, means very first time, if you want to do the firewall configuration, so you require the console access. So PC is going to be required, and based on that PC, you have to connect the console cable. And after connecting the console cable, you can take the console of this firewall and you can do the basic configuration of the firewall via CLI. We'll do that today. So we'll do the basic configuration of CLI configuration, how it is going to be happen. Now, similarly, if I want to connect my internet WAN cable, right? So WAN is always going to be internet. So let's suppose one is the ISP from the Airtel, or might be you can think about the AT&T, or might be the Verizon. Another might be ISP we have somewhere in the another global ISP, could be the Global Exchange, could be the Verizon, could be the any Bell Canada, right? So it could be any kind of the ISP, it is going to be connected. Rest, I have the DMZ zone, LAN zone, I can connect the RJ45 cable console, means the fiber cable. These all are the RJ45 cable, but some fiber also come with the fiber ports. So I can connect with the fiber ports as well, and those are going to help to make the connectivity from any port toward the LAN, any port toward the DMZ. But WAN having a dedication ports which is going to be used to the WAN connectivity. All right. And at the same time, we have some LEDs on the firewall. If you see in the front panel, we have the power LED, we have the status LED, we have the HA LED. So what is this LED is going to tell you? And also all ports LED status means which port are down. Down is always going to be red. Some warning is going to show in the amber, and some kind of the like no issue on the port, that always going to be green. So green means everything is fine. You don't have to worry about anything. But if you have the amber, if you have the kind of the red, that means red is very critical. You have to take some actions. But amber, it might be you have to little bit do troubleshooting, and you can just help to just fix those issues. So this is how your firewall front panel is going to look like. And if you just
मेनली DMG पोर्ट कभी यूज करते हैं मैं भी.
DMG port. I'll come to the DMG port, right? There is a, let's suppose, what is DMG, right? So DMG is known as demilitarized zone, right? So if you just go in the DMG, and why DMG we use that? So you just think about demilitarized zone is always very secure zone, right? And if you are something going to define the demilitarized zone, right? That means whatever the resources behind the DMZ, it is the very secure, Nasad. You understand? Means it is restricted to access by anyone by default. Let's suppose we have two kind of the security, right? One is the very VIP security, one is the ordinary security. Let's suppose the Prime Minister of India is visiting somewhere. So how kind of security is there? It's very high, right? If
Yes.
normal person is visiting like any other ordinary leader are visiting, so they having the low kind of security. So demilitarized zone is something, it's a very sensitive network where we have a very sensitive information and it is a very secure environment. Means if you want to access anything, you have to give some kind of the your identification. Those identification must be checked by your firewall and then your firewall is going to allow the access. Is it clear, Nosad, to you?
Okay, okay, yes, sir.
समझ आया?
Means any specific location को एक्सेस करने के लिए DMG पोर्ट अलाइन करते हैं, मतलब असाइन करते हैं, यूजिंग दिस पोर्ट टू कनेक्ट एनी पार्टिकुलर location like that.
See, this is your company, right? This company having the multiple kind of the area, right? Clear? So
Yes, sir.
here any kind of the HR people are sitting. Here you kind of the IT people are sitting. Okay. And here you kind of the sales means not you, sales people are sitting, right? But in this area, we have the critical servers. Servers are here, which is managed by the IT team. So we have a lot of server, right? So somebody is going to come from outside this area, they can get an access. They also can access for this area. This area also can get an access because they are going to simply ask you the security. You have the company ID or not. If you have the company ID, they will allow to enter this particular areas. Make sense? But if you want to enter this area, either being the HR, being the sales, being the IT, will not allow, right? Without special approval, right? So that is a very secure
Okay.
zone, DMG zone. That means it is a very sensitive area. Even you are going to belong to my same family, same company, I'm not going to allow you by default. Clear? अभी समझ आया?
Okay. Yes, yes, sir. Yes.
So this is your DMG zone. So now if I go and you can think about if I want to connect the WAN cable of any kind of the FortiGate firewall. So this WAN cable is basically your cable connectivity. Sandeep and everyone, Mawaika, you guys are understanding? Pradeep, you all are understanding? So if you want to connect, just give me your consent if you are able to understand that. So if you want to connect any kind of the WAN connections to get the internet of the FortiGate firewall, so we have the special port. Even I don't want to use this and I want to use some other port, that is also possible. But yes, they are dedicated port for the WAN connectivity. You can use that and you can just connect the cables for the other kind of the network devices. They are talking about the LAN connection, they have WAN connection, they are talking about some other switch ports to just connect the end network like switch network to end devices. And they have some kind of the Ethernet connect to the attached storage. So FortiGate have different kind of the product. And they're talking about a different product, how can we connect with the network cable, but we just have to focus about the FortiGate firewall. So now let's suppose you have a very brand new FortiGate firewall and you have to do the first time configuration. So how you're going to do the configuration? So first thing, let's suppose I have a very brand new FortiGate firewall. So I should know what is my FortiGate firewall management IP. And if it is not available, then how I can configure the FortiGate firewall management IP? Which port is going to act as a management port of the FortiGate firewall? So in this scenario, let's suppose this is the day 0 configuration. I want to do that. So if you are going to take any FortiGate firewall, and if it is going to be virtual environment, there is no dedicated management port. By default, port 1 is going to act as your management port or you can use any other port as well for the management port. But by default, we can use the port 1. But if we want to use another port also, it is also possible, also doable. It's not like I can just do this only, then only it is going to work. All right. So in this situation, even I want to show you. Let me show you. There is a FortiGate firewall which have the dedicated management port. So if I just go in this particular, and let me show you the high-end firewall. So if I just probably so I'm not able to see. So let me try to figure it out. So you can see FortiGate firewall management interface. Let me see if this can be. So here you can see this port is a management interface. It's not clear visible, but you can still see that this port is acting as a management interface. This port. So some ports are the specially designed for the FortiGate firewall for the management interface. You just connect your cable, right, on that particular port, and it is going to make the connectivity from your laptop. And after that, you can just take an access, right?
सर तो ये मैनेजमेंट पोर्ट पे यानी आइडेंटिफिकेशन हाउ टू आइडेंटिफाई एमजी मैनेजमेंट लिखा रहेगा या फिर विदाउट अगर लिखा रहेगा तो कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करेंगे?
So if there is a firewall, right, then always going to management region there, right? And by default, management interface having the IP address that is your 192.168.1.99. This is a default IP address is going to be configured of the management interface. So if you have the high-end firewall, there is a by default management interface is going to be configured there, means available there, right? And you have this hard-coded IP is also there. So you just have to do one this way. Let's suppose this is my firewall, right? And this firewall have this management. You can see this is the written in the management. Here is the MGMT. You able to see that? It's a management. It's not clear visual, but it's the management.
Okay, means port over right MG.
Yes, that is a management interface.
Okay.
So I have to connect one PC here. PC is going to be connected here. PC having one set of the IP address. Might be I can just go and give the IP address 192.168.1.100. And this port is going to be hard coded as a 192.168.1.99. So once I have the connectivity between this source and this destination via the RJ45 cable, I can able to ping the IP address from this PC, and then I can take the GUI access of this firewall. So this is the one way to taking the access of the firewall. Is it clear, Nausad, Mavaika, Pradeep, Sandeep?
यस मीन्स आप बोल रहे हैं कि ये 1.100 ये पीसी पे आईपी एड्रेस असाइन करेंगे और ये 199
Any IP, because see, by default, 99 is always going to be available on this interface, /24. So you can take any IP from /24 network, 192.168.1.0/24. 99 is a sign. You can take 1 to 254 IP address except 99. Any IP which is going to be same network, it is going to ping.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
Everyone? Okay. Now let's suppose I don't have the management interface. Then in that situation, how I can get the firewall CLI and GUI access? So again, I have the PC. PC can connect the cable on the console. So we have the console port also. You can see this is my console port. So simply I connect the cable with the console, similar what we can do in the router and switches. By connecting the console cable, I can take the CLI access of the firewall, and after taking the CLI access, I can do the configuration of the firewall. Let's suppose there is no management interface and I want to still get the management firewall. So I have to use by default port 1. So whatever port 1 is there, I can connect my RJ45 cable or might be my internet circuit on this particular port. And after RJ45 or internet circuit, I can take RJ45 if I connected with the PC, then I can take locally. And I want to take remotely, then internet is going to be connected and that IP is reachable from my remote location. Then it is also possible. So both way, I can take an access of this FortiGate firewall and I can do the configuration. So let's do one lab. In this lab, what we are going to do that we have the virtual firewall. Virtual firewall doesn't have the management interface, right? So we will do first step. We will take the console of the firewall. After taking the console, we'll do the management IP configuration of interface port 1. And we'll take the CLI access and we'll take the GUI access. Is it make sense to all of you guys? Hello, hello.
Oh, yes, sir, yes.
Okay. So let me do that. So let's go in the lab now. We in the lab, you can see this is the lab. This is my firewall. So right now, if you go in the firewall, if you see that we not have any kind of the management interface. If I just go here and I want to connect any cable, let's suppose I want to connect the cable from another device, let's suppose this to this device. So we don't have any management interface, just port. So port 1 is already used. And this is my another PC, which is also connected on this particular firewall. So I
सर
start my
ये वर्चुअल फायरवॉल में मतलब which series firewall like assuming
it's a virtual firewall. It's not a hardware series firewall. So let me come on the product matrix. So these are the hardware series of the firewall. You can see these all are the hardware series of the firewall, right?
okay
So similarly, we have the VM series of the firewall. We have the Forti manager. I'll discuss what is the Forti manager. I'll discuss what is the Forti analyzer later stage. I'll discuss what is the Forti SIEM authenticator, APs. A lot of product are there. Forti client also will discuss. You have see virtual appliance. This is the firewalls, right? So FortiGate VM, you can see. So this is what we are using here. The same feature, but in the virtual environment. If you're going to log in remotely, you're going to not find any differences. Only difference is one is the in the hardware form, one is the virtual form. Rest everything is going to be same. So let me go next. So in next, what I'm going to do that I'll just on the firewall as well. After owning the firewall, I will do the configuration. So first thing, if I on the firewall, I click the double on it. Let me click it again. And once I click the double, you just have to put the enter again, and it is asking to log into the firewall. So what is the default username of the firewall? So always default username of the firewall is the admin in a small. So I'll put the admin here. So let me put the admin. After admin, you don't have to put any passwords. Okay. You just have to put enter because by default, when you do the FortiGate firewall configuration, no password is going to require. So put enter. Then it is going to ask the new password. So you just have to put the new password. I'll put it new password and that's all. So if I just put my username, password is blank, I press enter. I put my new password, confirm my new password, then saying welcome to the FortiGate, and we have the access of the FortiGate firewall. Now just wait till here. Now let me go on the PC.
real device also
Please ask your question.
ये रियल डिवाइस में भी ऐसा ही दिखेगा अगर फिजिकल
Yes,
डिवाइस
yes,
में अगर
real device also going to look like in the same way. No other changes is going to be happen.
ओके
Okay.
ओके सर ओके
So I'll go in the PC again. After going in a PC, this is my PC. And basically this is server Windows server. So I'll go here and I'll close it. And what I can do that, I mentioned that if it is my physical firewall and I connect on the management interface, so management interface having the IP address hard coded, is 192.168.1.99. But right now it's a virtual appliance, so we don't have the management interface. So what I can do that, I can use the port 1 as a management interface, and I can configure the IP address. Might be what I define here, or might be the same 192.168.1.99. Whatever I want, I can do that. So let's use this topology. I'm not going to configure 192.168.1.99. I'm just going to configure this 192.168.10.10. So how can I do the configuration? Simply I'll go here, and after going, let me show you some lab guides for you, so you can just do the step by step your configuration as well. Let me open the lab guide for day 0. Let me show you. Let me go here. Training, FortiGate, labs. No, this is not. Just give me 1 second. I'm just going to show you everything FortiGate and lab guides. So here is the lab guide. If I want to do the configuration, so it's already prepared, but I wanted to show you. So the same lab, what I'm going to show that. So doing the configuration, day 0 lab, when you have to do the very first firewall configuration, then how is step-by-step configuration you have to do that. So each and everything is written here from the CLI point of view. First time, what you have to do the configuration, and then how the IP is going to be assigned on the interface, that we have to do that. So first thing, let me go on this particular FortiGate firewall interface, where it is, this one. And if I just run the command, show system interface, and if I put the question mark, if you just put the enter command, you're going to get the all interface and configuration in this particular format. So it's quite unreadable format. Once we can read, but we have to just look JSON format, it's coming very long length. So I want to see in the tabular format. So how can I check that? So I just simply go here, and after going, I just simply put a question mark, and you can see this is start coming in the table format, right? So this is my tabular format configuration of the interfaces. So first thing, I have to do the configuration, IP assignment of the particular interface, that is a port 1. So this is my port 1, and I have to assign the IP address. But one problem I am going to see that this problem is this interface has been set to get IP address in mode of the DHCP. See? So it will keep trying to get IP address from the DHCP server. But in our network, we don't have any DHCP server. I'm assuming you guys know what is a DHCP, right? Dynamic host like control protocol to get IP address. Just I'm assuming that. So this port is going to get IP address from the DHCP server, but we don't have any DHCP configuration in our network. So this will never get an IP address from the DHCP. But we have to assign the IP address at the same time on this particular port. So if I want to go and assign the IP address manually on this port, this is not going to reflect because it is configured as a DHCP mode. So what I can do that, I can just go here. I can go in the, I can go in the config, not this, not configuration T is not going to require. Set device, sorry. What was the command? I just forgot that. Config, and you have to put the system, right? And after the system, right, you have to do the configuration. You have a lot of commands. If you put the question mark, you're going to get a lot of commands there. So you can do a lot of configuration. You want to configure DHCP, you want to configure for the kind of the HA, you want to configure the IP, IPv4, right? NTP. So you can do a lot of configuration here, but I want to do the interface level configuration, right? So you can see we have the interface here. So I want to change the configuration for the particular interface. So I want to change the configuration of the interface, and which interface I want to do that. So I just put enter and I can go the interface. If I just put the enter, we have the option to edit the interface, and I can edit the port 1 because I want to do the change configuration of the port 1. If you have any confusion, just refer this lab guide, right? It is everything written here. So means I have to go in the config system interface. I want to change the IP address of the port, which is 1, but the mode has been set as a DHCP. So if I want to give the IP address, it is not going to take the IP address. Let me try to give that, okay? So port 1, set IP. The command is, you can see set IP. It's not taking the IP. I'm trying to check, but let me try to put 192.168.10.10 and 255.255.0. Right? You cannot assign the IP address because it's dynamically configured. So this is the reason even I'm trying to change the IP address, it is not taking. So the first thing, what you have to change it, you have to change the dynamic assignment to the static assignment. Then only you can assign the IP address. So let me do that first. So set mode, and if you click question mark, we have the static. So I'll just make as a static, which is going to tell this interface, hey interface, you are in the static mode, and now you can assign the IP address. So now if I go here, set IP 192.168.10.10, right? And I can put 255.255.255.0. It is going to take. So now we are done. You don't have to do any kind of write configuration command. You don't have to do any kind of the commit command here. If you're done with the configuration, you just have to put end command or exit command. You are going to get out, and config is going to be auto apply in the FortiGate firewall. But one more thing we just have to understand, when you configure any interfaces on the Palo Alto firewall, FortiGate firewall, so we have some kind of the administration access on that particular interface. Means by default might be some services are not going to allow. Likewise, the firewalls are going to block ping services on the interface. They are going to block HTTPS services. They are going to block SSH services. They are going to block telnet services, or might be the HTTP services, might be the SNMP services. So these are the management level of services. So if I want to allow any kind of services, so we have to make sure the services should be allowed in the particular firewall, right? So how I can do that? Simply I can go on the firewall level again, and we have the command set allowance, and whatever services I want. Suppose I want to ping this interface, so I can allow the ping. I want to access via the GUI, so I will allow the HTTPS or HTTP. Both is going to be allowed. Port 80 and port 443. I want to do SSH of the firewall, so I can allow the SSH as well. I want to do telnet of the firewall, so we can allow telnet as well. And I put OK. And if I want to give some description like interface like, so you just have to put set alias, just kind of the description you can think about. So put alias, I can just put this interface as a management interface. So just kind of description you can think about it. Done. And I'll just put an enter. Done. Now if I just run the command, so system interface port 0, you can put the enter, you can see this is the latest configuration of this interface. Means on this interface, what we have done, first we change the port from dynamic to static, right? And then we assign this IP address we allow these services and we put this management interface description. Earlier it was not there, right? And if I just check in this way, show interface, so system interface. See, now you can see this interface has been this IP address. Nasad, you are getting me? Mavaika, Pradeep, both Pradeep,
Yes, yes, sir.
Narendra, you guys are getting me? So we
Yeah,
have this
yeah.
IP address. So now with this interface, we successfully assign the IP address. What next?
Sir,
So
before IP address like 00 showing. So what is
your voice is breaking, Nasad. Can you go in the network area?
no, no,
Please.
no. My question is like you selected the IP address which is assigned in the interface, right? But before IP address showing 00, like a static and IP address in between showing 0000. What is this exactly?
Oh, this one is fine, right?
Yes, yes.
So this one basically it's not used, right? It's not used field, right? It's showing like default one, right? There is no IP. Whatever the IP it's showing, it's a name and by the way, there is nothing is going to be assigned. We can say these are the up, disable, aggregated, and actual IP octet is this one up, and this is by default. You are going to get this field as a free, and which condition I believe we can use. I need to check the documentation why this field is basically going to use here. There is a special not purpose in the follower to fire means the FortiGate firewall, but I have to check why these are the 00 because never noticed this also. But it always going to be 00 only, okay, Nasad? But I'll check for you. I'll definitely let you know what
Okay,
is
sir.
the use case of this
Yeah.
particular 00. Just behind this particular
Okay,
configuration.
okay.
If you see the configuration
Thank you,
wise,
sir.
see, there is nothing is special for 00. If you see that, only you're going to see that this IP address, right? So might be this is just for the VDOM, which is going to use a root for default. So that's why they are using a default VDOM. But I'll check the documentation. What is going to be used for this one? So now if I click OK, so you can see these all configuration. And the most common thing you can see all is here the VDOM root. So this could be the only region it can be used for 00 because they all are going to belong in the same VDOMs. But I'm not 100% sure, so I'll check that. Now let's back to the PC. PC, I'm going here and this interface have this IP address. So on PC, I'll go, let me check, and I'll assign the same series of the IP address. So let me go here. And here I can put the IP address 192.168.10 dot. I can put as 11, okay? And here this IP, no default gateway because there is the same network. Simply click OK. Okay. And if I go in the CMD now, and if I try to access this firewall, should be accessible. Let me try it. So IP config, you can see this is the IP address. Let me try to ping the firewall interface IP address, which is configured 10.10 here. So I'll just go here 192.168.10.10 and see now I'm able to ping because I allow the ICMP. So if I just try to search the putty from this particular PC, let me see if I have or not. We have, right? So if I just try to open a putty and I want to take the remote access of this firewall via the SSH or telnet, that can be also possible. So let me try with the SSH first, right? So I'll go and take the 10.10. This is the IP address. Now SSH is selected. I can just go and open this firewall. Sorry, I put the wrong host. And I just select it and okay. Admin password. Sorry, I can password put as admin as well. Oh, sorry, I think something need to be restart. Let me try again. New session. Let me try it. 192.168.10.10. What is happening here? Let me open another session. So I simply go here, and after going, I'll just put 192.168.10.10. Why unexpected error? You're putting the right IP address, right? 192.168.10.10. SSH. Some putty is behaving not correct weight. I don't know why, but definitely we can take the SSH and telnet. Let me try with the telnet as well. I don't know why it is giving such error, but we can take definitely access. Leave it. I'll show you. Okay. So at least we have the IP address. So system, let me check one more time. Interface, and we have the same IP address, right? And this IP is pingable even. But some reason we are not able to do the SSH and telnet from this PC. But let me try with the GUI access. Earlier we have done, but I don't know why it is not working. Might be some misbehave of the putty due to virtualization. But let me try with this particular GUI access. GUI access definitely should work. So here you have to go and put the IP address. Simply 192.168.10.10. Once you put the IP address, by default it is going to do the HTTP, right? Because both we allowed HTTP and HTTPS. So we are doing the HTTP based on the IP. So you can see we have the prompt of the firewall. So everything is fine. Only some glitch in the putty not correctly working for some reason. And we're not able to do the SSH. Let me try with this puttition if I can do something. No, it's not. Let me log in it meanwhile. We'll check later on why it's not working.
Okay.
So let me try it. Admin. So once I log in, come on, man, why it's failing authentication? Okay, so now we are logging inside the firewall. So once you log into the firewall, it will ask the basic setup of the firewall. So you can do the step basic begin setup and you can do it later on. So later, if you do that, then your dashboard is going to by default open and you have to do all the configuration via the dashboard. So let me do via the begin, and what I'll do, I'll change the host name. So if I want to put like FortiGate Firewall, so this is going to be GuiNet FortiGate Firewall, right? So I can just put this way. I can click OK. And I will leave the optimal. I'm not going to change anything. And then we have the firewall access. Okay. So
Okay.
now we have the firewall access, GUI firewall access, and in this dashboard, we can see each and everything about the network security, routing, whatever you want to do that configuration. That dashboard is going to be show each and everything. And on this dashboard, we have to do all configuration, right? So if you have to do day zero firewall configuration, you can start doing the firewall configuration in this way, what I just did right now. So first you have to get the management interface IP address. If not, it is available. You have to configure the port. That port having the services allow, that is HTTP, HTTPS, ICMP, just ping that. Telnet SSH. Telnet is not recommended. SSH is recommended. And then you can just connect that cable from the firewall port to your PC. They are going to make the connection, and then you're able to ping, and then you can do the GUI access and CLI access. So is it clear to everyone? Let me try one more time. If I can take the putty session access, should be working. I don't know why it is giving some funny error. In first place, it was able to do the SSH. Let me try one more time. 192, 168, 10. Yeah, now it's working. So it was the
What was the
software issue.
problem?
Yeah, so you can see here we can able to do the SSH of the firewall. So if you run the command, so system interface, you are going to get the all informations. So now tomorrow, what I'm going to explain, tomorrow I'm going to explain like the step-by-step dashboard configuration, how you can do the little bit advanced configuration of the FortiGate firewall in terms of the creating the VLANs, creating the IP address. We'll parallelly see what is the dashboard, how the dashboard is going to be customized, in which section, what kind of information you are going to get. And at the same time, we'll try to see the policy, object, VPN, and everything configuration. So please ask me, guys, if you have any question till here, so I can take the questions. But this was the objective in today class. At least you guys get the basic understanding of the firewall. At the same time, you have the basic day zero configuration understanding of the firewall. How I can get the CLIs of the firewall, how I can get the GUIs of the firewall, and how even I can log into my dashboard. Clear to all?
Yeah, it's okay.
Thanks, Mavika. Whatever
Now,
Nausad, Madan,
it's a-
Pradeep, Sandeep,
Yes, yes, sir.
सबको समझ में आ गया? चलो, so कल
Yes,
let's connect on time. Okay, we can continue from here, and we'll start from
So,
more configuration part from here. Okay.
okay.
sir, just
Tomorrow
wanted
same.
to ask,
Yes, please.
if I want to create, virtual lab at home, because I have a server and everything, VMware, how you can help us to do so?
So we can help in terms of the, if you have the virtual server and all, so images if you need, we can provide that image. There is no problem.
Okay.
Okay. But if you have the specific guideline how to
No, that I have, that is not a problem. I don't need guideline. I can continue on that.
So no worry, we can arrange the image, okay, if you want really. Okay, Pradeep.
All right, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you so much, guys. See you tomorrow. Okay, at same time.
Tomorrow same time. Tomorrow same time.
Yeah, same time, same time. We'll start on same
Oh,
time. Okay.
Okay.
It's
Okay, no
1 hour
problem.
session and it is going to happen daily. Okay. So don't miss the session. It's going to be very interesting. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Bye.
Wow.